Thank you for listening and watching. This is the Jake and Josh podcast. I'm Jake.
And I'm Josh.
And this is episode 31. And as promised,
we're in video.
That was perfect. We didn't even try to sync that up at all.
I know.
I wasn't even trying to say
Well, we're trying to sync the audio to the video, and that's tough. But we weren't syncing Jake's audio to my audio.
It's going to be really weird when we try to sync up the audio later, and we're not going to be able to see my mouth moving.
Yeah. That's tough.
It is going to be tough. But I think we'll be able to power through.
So, typically, before we get to like the intro music and the, we didn't explain this right last week. We have commercial breaks now.
Yes.
But
We'll explain it ahead of time.
Some of our listeners aren't too bright. Let's explain it now, and we'll remind them when it comes time.
That's good.
If you're listening on undiscoveredrockradio.com, which we're a featured show 4 times a week on, hosted out of Melbourne, Australia.
Australia, mate.
Australia, mate.
Know what I mean?
Why does that sound like you're going to do something weird to my spouse? Australia, mate. Then you hear commercials. But if you listen, or if you either watch this on YouTube or you listen via any kind of podcasting or iTunes services, you will hear a beep, and then we'll get immediately back to the action.
And that beep sounds like this. All right.
That's the beep.
You just missed a commercial.
We should do that for the commercial break for this episode. No, we'll do it probably after the music. So one thing we do before we get to the intro music is we go over some recent accolades. We have eclipsed 6,200 Twitter followers now.
Nice.
Have you checked our recent numbers on Libsyn?
No.
I know we cracked 1,000, and it's barely over being with Lisbon.
Lisbon, Portugal.
Not Lisbon, the city I'll never be in.
Not lesbian, the women who don't want us.
But if they did. But yeah, Libsyn, we've been with him for a little over a month, and we cracked 1,000 downloads already, so that feels great.
Yeah.
Being on Undiscovered Rock Radio, last time I talked to the executive producer of that channel, he gets about 12,000 listens at any one time, so that's Dece, which is short for decent.
Or Descent.
Which is a terrifying movie. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's also cool because we were originally only supposed to be featured 2 times a week on there, but now we're 4 times.
Although it's weird because and maybe it's like an Australian radio thing. They're always a little behind schedule. So we're supposed to play at 4 p.m. and 4 a.m.
Australian time
on Monday and Tuesday, and that translates to noon and midnight Sunday and Monday American time.
Freedom time.
And I tuned in last Sunday at noon, and we didn't start till noon 18. And I was heartbroken, as most of the Australians.
In the outback.
Dude, time out. I always forget this. Where the fuck do we see what time we're at?
It's down here in the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not quite time for music.
Yeah. And you don't have to say time out. There's no timeouts in podcasts.
This is true. I'm going to open up for a moment. I'm really nervous about being on video because when it's just audio, you can edit it. But like when it's video, this is going to be it.
Yeah, that's okay.
So like right now in my house,
you can edit the audio still afterwards though.
Right. But so if you're watching this on YouTube, or I'm going to try to get us on YouPorn.
Yes.
We fuck a lot of our listeners over, so it makes sense to just
welcome to Porn's Greatest Podcast.
Dude.
Brought to you by Pornhub. It's the Jake and Josh podcast.
It's hilarious how many different sites we try to be on, but yet if we were on Pornhub, I feel like our numbers would be in the millions.
The millions of millions.
They would just be hoping like a black guy comes in the background and like racially integrates us.
They'd be waiting for it to become a porn. What's the part where this gets good?
So I'm a little nervous because in my house right now, I have my wife and 2 dogs. And so there's a good chance you might hear some barking or one of my 2 dogs. Okay. I've been planning that for 3 days.
That's good. All right. Well, we are just about 5 minutes in. So now it's time to cue the music.
Let's play that funky music, White Boy.
All right.
Coming at you live from Building 7 in New York, it's the only show that always has its dick out for Harambe, making America okay again. It's the Jake and Josh Podcast.
And we are back. I'm not sure how this is going to play on the video. We'll probably just insert a static image there. Yeah. Just a picture of me with my finger in my butthole.
I freaking wish.
It'll be one of those, it'll be the McDonald's Christmas cup where it looks like they're spreading their butt cheeks.
Are you saying that because you're wearing a Grimace purple shirt?
Yes. It is the reminder I needed.
If you're naked with your finger in your butt, can we name this picture Bear Down? No, that's weird.
Bear open. My bear hole. Bear in the hole.
Actually, I like my bear hole.
Fire in the bear. Fingering the bear.
Are you having a stroke?
Of genius.
Good one. So let's go ahead. Let's introduce our commercials. And again, for those of you that weren't paying attention, you're going to hear a beep.
Yeah.
And then no commercials unless you're in Australia.
Yeah, I'm going to do the test run again. But that wasn't the commercial. The commercial's still coming.
This is the commercial.
This is going to be the commercial. And that was the commercial. So if you just heard, then you just missed out on a commercial.
You know what we should do? Just play that intermittently throughout the episode and make people think, like, do they really have that many commercials?
Yeah. We could. We could let old Drop D put in some more commercials if we wanted to.
What is Drop D?
That's his name. Mark, a.k.a. Drop D.
Yeah, that's his producer name.
Yeah.
Do you feel like now that we're on video
that we've made it? Yes.
There's more like I'm very aware of the physical aspect of this already, and I'm trying to elevate my posture, and I may what's the word when you add something to something that wasn't there before?
Oh, it's something. I
may interject.
Yeah.
Include.
Yeah. Add.
That's the one. I may add some physical comedy as well, but we'll see.
Masturbation, probably.
Hold on, Jake, duck your head for a moment. Is it weird? I just thought about it. My room is a giant ode to Randy Marsh.
And your shirt.
Yeah.
Praise be to Randy.
Just our setting, our scenery right now is very Randy-esque. All right, Jake, you have a story for us.
I do have a story.
For us.
For us and them.
The Australians.
And our other listeners.
All right.
The untouchables.
Let's hear it.
So the other day I was driving to work. It snowed pretty bad in Indianapolis.
We got 2 inches.
Wait, it was like 3. But anyway, when I left for work, it had started, and it was at the point where they hadn't really cleared any of the roads yet, so all the roads were really nasty. There was about 1.5 inches, 2 inches on the ground, and it was still coming down pretty hard. Anyway, yeah,
That's the physical comedy.
It's just gonna be eyebrow raises the whole time.
Anytime you say "come" in any context.
Yeah, come. Damn it! I hit the fucking microphone stand.
You told the microphone to come.
Yeah, I hit that bell. But anyway, so I'm driving to work, and I stop at a stoplight, and I'm sitting at the stoplight. It turns green, and for whatever reason, I decided to hesitate before going.
Maybe another stroke.
Of genius. But in that moment of hesitation, a pickup truck came flying through the intersection, perpendicular to me. So
you could have died.
Yeah, if I wouldn't have hesitated, I would have gotten totally fucked up by this truck, and it made me think a parallel universe version of me probably died that day.
Before we delve into parallel universes, So my thought is always the rarer something is in our universe. So the odds of you for like if you would have seen him coming and stopped, then I think, let's say, and I know I don't know. Hypothetically, there's infinite universes. But for what I'm trying to prove, let's say there's 1,000. Okay. So let's say you see this truck coming and you're like, oh shit, I'm not going yet. And then it barrels through the intersection. I feel like out of those 1,000 universes, maybe 950 Jakes were like, oh shit, I'm not going yet. And they didn't go and they survived. And then 50 didn't pause and then went.
I would say 950 did what I did. 45 didn't see the truck, didn't pause, and ran into the intersection.
Yeah.
The other 5 saw the truck coming and decided that was his moment.
How about 4 of those and then 1 didn't own a vehicle? That's walking Jake.
The walking Jake.
And now for the talking Jake. Okay.
And now for talking Jake.
But yeah, so my point is, like, if you would have, in alternate realities, out of that 1,000, in this instance, I bet 950 lived.
Yeah.
But if you would have, 950 died because there was no reason for you to stop and pause.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I always think about that. If there are infinite realities, then the less likely something was in this one, the more realities it also didn't happen.
Well, so I think probably what happened was...
What had happened was...
So this was the reality where I didn't see the truck coming, but also got lucky and decided not to go. Yeah. There would have been other realities where I did see the truck coming and decided not to go.
Do you think the truck saw you and knew that he could have killed you?
I don't think the truck was too concerned about that. He was concerned about getting to Starbucks.
I had one semi-similar story. When you work in restaurants and you close, which you do, you typically get out between like 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. depending on which Taco Bell you're at. No. Why did I just grope my breast? God, I'm sitting on my hands.
I don't know what to do with your hands.
I should just slowly, okay.
That looked suggestive.
Yeah, I know. But anyways, whenever you're driving at like 2 to 4 in the morning, you learn to drive much more hesitant because the likelihood that a vehicle on the road is drunk or Asian or something is because that's daytime hours for them. It's very likely. And so you drive more safe. And there was one time I was at a stoplight.
More safely?
That too. There was one time I was at a stoplight and kind of similar scenario. I don't remember the vehicle, but I picture it being a truck. It just barreled through the intersection.
It's a Honda Civic.
Probably. But I was most personally affronted by the fact that I don't think that car has any idea that if I would have gone, we'd have both been gone. Instead,
in 60 seconds.
Maybe. Instead, they probably just were driving at 60, 70 miles an hour on a non-highway road, barreling through red lights, thinking, oh yeah, that meth hit the spot. And really, that's a bummer.
Really perks you up on a 25-hour drive through Indiana.
Is it amazing? Random side tangent, but I've always wondered this. So, like, I think statistically, well, unproven statistically, maybe like 40 to 60% of semi-truck drivers, like lifelong ones, interstate semi-truck drivers, do meth.
It wouldn't surprise me.
But then is it weird how much of our economy is dependent upon meth to keep the drivers awake long enough to transport all our shit on time?
Yeah, forget Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on meth.
Yeah. And I'm not talking like maybe FedEx and UPS drivers. Like, those guys probably don't do meth because their companies probably test for that. But if you see like one of those...
No, they have prescriptions for Adderall instead.
Same. But if you see like one of those, for some reason this one always sticks with me, the big yellow trucks that say CFI in red letters on the side.
Chinese family inside.
That's what I always think it means. That's the only reason I know that one. But yeah, they're probably on meth.
Yeah.
And that's why you have your ho-hos at every BP in America.
Because they give the meth out by the dumpster behind the BP.
I'm trying to think, what is meth? I've watched enough Intervention. I should know this.
If you would have watched Breaking Bad like I told you to, you know what meth is.
Please.
It's a good show.
I know. I feel like I recount this theme throughout our show. But there's some things I just have to rule out. I'm never going to watch Breaking Bad. It sounds amazing.
It's okay.
I love Bryan Cranston.
You don't have cable anymore. You'll watch it eventually. It's all on Netflix.
Dude, no. I watched Orange is the New Black. I mean, I'm not... If I watched that and I hadn't watched, Breaking Bad, I'm not watching Breaking Bad. It'll never happen.
It's okay. I'll force it on you one day.
I'm sure there's a show I love that you've never watched.
Name one.
Jeopardy. Just kidding. Shit. Now I can't think of any.
I usually give them at least a try.
Yeah. Because you like The Office, you like Rick and Morty, you like South Park.
But I got you to like The Office, though.
You did, yeah. Actually, I had a surgery in which I had to lay on my stomach for like 2 weeks, and you planted the seed, but the
surgery was because I planted my seed.
That's awesome. But being belly ridden fertilized the plant.
The seed of The Office. So if you haven't watched The Office,
the American one. People say the British one is good, and I like most British humor. I don't like Monty Python, which a lot of people disagree with, and I don't like the British Office.
That's okay. I didn't really like it either.
I love Mr. Bean. I love anything with Rowan Atkinson. Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Run Fat Boy Run.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah. When he popped her foot blister.
That was the second most disgusting liquid I've ever had on my face.
And that's also how I found out about Dylan Moran, who I believe is a British stand-up comedian.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, previously the only one I knew was Jimmy Carr.
Or Ricky Gervais.
What's Jim Jeffries?
He's Australian.
We already talked about them.
Yeah. He had one of my favorite lines in the they did the End of the World podcast the night of the election. It was like him.
Wait, Jim Jeffries.
Yeah, Jim Jeffries. Yeah. Well, he wasn't like on the podcast. He like popped in while they were like recording it.
It was a very fluid dais.
Yeah, he had his son with him, but it was like Bill Burr, Doug Stanhope, Jim Rogan,
Joe Rogan.
What'd I say?
Jim Rogan.
I was thinking Jim Jeffries, and then I was thinking Joe Rogan also.
That's called a spoonerism.
Yeah, but so Jim Jeffries popped in like 30 minutes into them recording the show. Like he just drove by where they were recording it. And he popped in, and his son was there, and they're at a place where, they serve alcohol, so you're not allowed to have kids there. And Joe Rogan was commenting that he's pretty sure that this is illegal, and he says, what, it's not like we're fucking him? And that was a perfect impression of Jim Jeffries.
Okay, so for our listeners, if you do enjoy other podcasts, highly recommend. I think the End of the World podcast only came out on Joe Rogan Experience.
I think it was on Stanhope's podcast too.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if they all posted it, but
they might have.
One of the coolest, not important historical moments occurred in that show. So they recorded
the election.
Dude, even better than that. When they legalized marijuana in California, there was a standing ovation for 5 minutes in the room.
Yeah, there was.
Everyone started smoking weed immediately. I mean, they probably already.
Yeah.
They had been smoking weed, but they
still were, but they were before too.
Yes, they were doing it legally for the first time all night. And that was kind of neat. But then I also wondered, when you pass a law, is it immediate?
I don't believe so. Usually most laws don't take effect until like the start of the new calendar year.
Yeah, Obamacare took like 3 years.
Yeah, because it kept getting like passed and then unpassed.
Well, and I think they had to figure out all the infrastructure for like,
for the Obamacare website.
Yeah, everyone has to get health insurance, but how?
And if they don't get health insurance, we're going to tax them. But how? On their income tax return.
Yeah. Yeah, I even saw a commercial just the other day where if you don't sign up by like December 15th, or no, they don't say like if you don't, then you get penalized. They'll phrase it more positive where they're like, if you sign up by December 15th, you will avoid the penalty starting at $650 for the next calendar year.
If you pay now, you'll avoid it.
Okay, but do the math. Is $650 less than what your premium would be?
Probably.
And if you can't afford health insurance, you're probably not affording your taxes you have to pay anyway.
If you can't afford health insurance, you're probably not paying, like you're probably going to get a huge tax return because of any money that you did earn, you probably didn't have to pay taxes on.
This will seem random. I haven't given a ton of thought to universal health insurance as a concept, but I'm going to talk through it for a moment. And
and speaking of universe, we got way off topic from the parallel universe thing.
Yeah, you're way worse than me at reeling us back in.
I know.
Like, I'll be like, I'll start talking about serial killers, and then Jake will talk about cereal, and I'll be like, okay, and then back to serial killers, and then Jake laughs, and I laugh, and we chortle a little bit. And anyways, what the fuck was I talking about? Okay.
I don't know. Oh, you're talking about universal healthcare.
Yeah, so, and I worked for about a year in auto insurance, and so maybe I oversimplify health insurance by equating it to that, but like, car insurance should be mandatory because of liability. Like, if you're on the road and someone else is on the road, you should be
most
liable
states,
for your mistakes.
I know a lot of states do have that, though, mandatory auto insurance laws.
I'd say 80 to 90% do, and that's good enough for me. You
Well,
know,
I mean,
I'm never going to drive in Maine.
Well, that's always been my defense to people who don't like the mandatory health insurance thing. Like, most states require you to have auto insurance, and nobody deemed that unconstitutional. So, like, if you don't have car insurance and you get caught not having car insurance, you pay a fine.
I think just because the Constitution's a federal document, and then auto insurance is completely on a state-by-state basis.
Yeah, I
Now,
can see that.
If someone ever did fight in a state and it wasn't resolved, then it could be appealed up to the Supreme Court, and then who knows what would happen.
Yeah, but then and then also the states aren't the ones that are operating the insurance companies. They're all separate entities.
Yeah. Now, every state that has auto insurance, and I'll fact check this after I say it, but they all have to have the insurance commissioner in the state, and that kind of makes sure that the insurance companies can cover like any claims. They're not just taking your money and then running.
Which is what I would do.
Shit. But okay, so for car insurance, it's a liability thing. If I mess up driving and I hit your car, the insurance is there to bring you back to the previous financial state you were at.
Yes.
And health state if you got hurt. But like with health insurance, it's impossible to prove. Like, it's not a liability thing, but that's the only reason I would think of to make an insurance mandatory.
Right.
If you have a liability to someone else's health, even if I cough into your mouth right now, which we could try. No. God, that freaks me out. Even if I coughed into your mouth, I am not liable for any disease you get.
That's true.
So I'm like, But
I have health insurance.
This is true, too.
I mean, that's part of the thing, too, with auto insurance. Like, you have your own, you're covered if somebody hits you and then leaves. You're also covered against uninsured drivers.
But I feel like, and I'm going to fact check this tonight, too. I'm pretty positive if you get hit by a hit-and-run driver, it's going to hit your liability coverages.
Unless they get a hold of the other person's information.
Right. But then, I mean, at that point, I don't know. Does that still count as a hit-and-run if they find the other person? Who knows?
Yeah, you can hit and run and then be caught later. It's still a hit and run because you left the scene of an accident. I should know. I got charged with one.
Do you want to tell that story?
That was a long time ago. I was like 16 or 17. I was hanging out with a friend of mine.
A deviant friend. And
my curfew was 9:00, so I was supposed to be home by 9:00, and it was 9:30. And
So you're both deviant.
Yeah. So I told my friend, like, hey, I'm gonna have to drop you back off your house. I gotta get home, or I'm gonna lose vehicle privileges. But it was raining. It was storming pretty bad. So that was gonna be my alibi for why I was late. Like, oh, the weather got bad, and I wanted to wait for it to not be so bad before I left. But anyway, so we're starting back. Like, we're getting into the car, and it was actually my mom's old station wagon, and he's like, I know a quicker way back. He's like, you should just let me drive. I was like, but you don't have a license. And he said, so? And I was like, okay. And so I'm letting him drive. Someone who had previously been to the boys facility.
Jail.
Yeah, the boys facility in Muncie several times already at this point. Driving my mom's car in a thunderstorm without a license. So we're on a
after curfew.
After my personal curfew. So we're driving on these back roads to get back to his house. 2-lane road. It's a double yellow through the whole road, which means do not pass on the left-hand side. And we get behind what I found out was a female driver. She's like 16, in a
Orange skin?
no,
Okay.
yellow. Oh, she was a Simpsons character. This is all made up. This is fake. But she's driving an early 2000s Camaro, and he gets up behind her. She's going slower. It's like a 45. She's doing like 30. So he goes out and around her on a double yellow without a license and a thunderstorm. And he goes around
After curfew.
After curfew. And he pulls up alongside her and goes to pass her, and he clips her, like he sideswipes her front driver's side fender. It's not even like, I don't want to say sideswipe because he didn't like knock her off the road or anything. It was a love tap.
She's dead.
Hopefully. It was a love tap. It was like trading paint. Like there's literally just a scuff of paint on the car. But he passes her and then just drives. Just keeps driving. And I'm like, holy fuck, what are you doing? And I would like to add this. She made no attempt to like flag us down afterward. So just wanted
At
to...
least they couldn't see it through all the lightning.
Right. So we pull into his neighborhood. We do a quick Chinese fire drill. He runs into his house. I take the car, and I start driving home. At some point between me dropping him off at his house and me being home, she had gotten behind me and got my license plate number.
Damn.
So the next day, the sheriff from that county and his deputy came to my house and spoke with my parents while I was up in my room pretending I didn't exist because I saw their cars pull up. And they read me my rights and arrested me and then released me into my parents' custody. So I didn't actually get booked and went to jail. But I had to, but yeah, I ended up, so she said that there were two people in the car, and because no one else was supposed to be driving my mom's car, I was more concerned with being murdered than getting in trouble with the police. So I told, like,
You
fell
had
on
to
the
say
sword.
you were driving.
I fell on the sword for him and said that I was the only one in the vehicle, and that it was me who did the hit and run. It was me the whole time. And
You're literally the reason car insurance is required.
yeah. So if you're listening to this, you know who you are. You owe me. But the
He's talking to the girl.
yeah. So a $350 fine later. It was only 10 hours of community service. I had to do a defensive driving class and 6 months of probation.
What'd you do for community service?
I worked at Hummel Park
Roscoe's
in Plainfield.
Parks. Oh, nice.
I cleaned up. I was helping clean up the park.
That's
and,
admirable.
We got. They didn't let me drive the go-kart, or the golf cart. But I got pretty good at riding shotgun in the golf cart while one of the people who actually worked there sped around on the golf cart while I stabbed trash with the trash picker upper and put it in the bucket, so he didn't actually have to get out and manually like walk the entire park.
Morbid thought, but I've always those trash pokers.
Yeah,
they're efficient.
They are,
as you know.
Yeah, I'm well aware.
I always pictured like in Auschwitz, whenever all the Jews were dead. Auschwitz, whenever all the Jews were dead on the floor of the giant oven, if somebody just went through and like poked the bodies and like then put them into the bag.
No, they burned them up into like ash, so you could just hoover them up.
I always thought they killed them in a separate spot and they
they gassed them.
cremated.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
them.
Once they're gassed, then they're dead.
Oh, you poke them to make sure they're dead?
No, you poke them. You take the bodies.
Oh, shish kebab.
Yes, a Jewish kebab.
Schlong kebab.
Schwanz kebab.
There we go. That sounds better.
Schlong is Yiddish. Schwanz is Jewish.
You're Jewish.
I'm supportive.
Your kids will be Jewish.
Random thing I kind of want to talk about today. Okay, hold on. Let me gather my.
Hold on. We still
let me gather myself.
We still haven't finished our conversation on parallel universes.
Let's talk. The only thing is, I wonder how many people already are aware of the infinite universe or infinite reality theory.
I pretend that no one knows about anything previously that we talk about on the show, and I pretend that they're hearing it for the first time from us.
I feel like a lot of our friends and family that listen don't know about it, but then most people that listen to podcasts are pretty smart.
I would disagree.
So, most of our listeners. So the infinite reality theory is basically saying there are infinite realities in theory. Jake, take over.
Yeah, in this, so what it really boils down to is that, like, in some realities, this could be the Josh and Jake podcast.
Yeah. As I understand, there's two extremes. So one, there's a reality where the exact same thing happened as this reality, except my cup has lemonade instead of water. Like, that's the only difference. Versus one of the common hypothetical scenarios that people talk about. Have you heard the monkeys typing out Shakespeare one?
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. If you gave an infinite amount of monkeys an infinite amount of typewriters,
in infinite time and infinite realities,
they would come up with all of Shakespeare's
One of them
works.
would just type out Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And that's weird to think about because you're like, there's no fucking way. But, like, you don't understand infinity then.
Yeah. It's a mind-boggling concept that, like, there's a reality where Donald Trump is president. Oh, that's this one.
That's probably a lot of them.
No, I bet there's a bunch of them, a lot of better universes where Bernie Sanders won.
Oh, man.
That's the universe
so cool.
I want to be.
Yeah. I picture Clyde from South Park. That would be so cool.
That would be so cool.
You did a better Clyde.
I know.
I got the words right. You did the right inflections.
Yeah, impression. It's like, I don't know. It's like a random. It's so, I don't know. It's those things I think about at night when I'm pondering.
Jerking off.
When I'm pondering my own existence, which is what I call jerking off. Like when I'm laying in bed and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to sleep, and then I'm like, but what happens when all the energy in the universe runs out?
Yeah.
And then I start talking about, well, there's probably another universe where the energy hasn't ran out, and in that universe, I'm probably super poor.
So I want to build on the infinite realities thing. Sometimes I think about how many people are on this planet now. It's obviously it's not infinite realities, but especially like being someone like myself or Jake, where you try to make jokes all the time, like you got to make a really smart joke, because if you make a really obvious one, like a low-hanging fruit joke,
Yeah.
Odds are someone already made that one. Like,
Yeah,
we're really
see
big.
that.
We're really big on the hashtag games on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And for anyone not familiar with it, it might say like, one of my favorites all time is change one letter, ruin a movie. Okay, and so like I thought I was brilliant for posting 3 men and a baby.
Yeah.
Because that's morbid, and no matter what conclusion you draw, that's morbid.
Yeah.
But then when you post it, if you scroll through, people post it before, and then is it a repost necessarily?
No, it's one of those things where it's an original thought, but somebody else also had that same original thought.
No, it's an organic thought, but it's not original.
Oh, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can.
And that's super disheartening. Like, as an example, like here's a joke I thought about one time that I think is organic and original, but for some reason I told somebody one time, my first son, I'm gonna name him Reddy, and then when he's 2 years old, I'm gonna change his name to Freddy, and then for the rest of his life, when people say, "Are you ready, Freddy?" he could be like, "I was born ready," and then just. But that's
so dumb.
But I don't think anyone would have ever thought of that before, and if I ever read it, I'm so hurt.
Yeah, that would be disheartening to see something like that. I think the key to creating great comedy is just like a lot of material, talks about stuff that's already been talked about before, but it's either having a fresh perspective or just, I don't want to say fresh opinion because everybody's opinion is the same. It's just
maybe being able to articulate it differently.
I can see that. Yeah.
Like, because two people can be against the same thing, and like one, especially for me, I really do enjoy organic food. My dad does. We're gonna talk about my dad every episode.
He's our new rap music.
I love original content, and I acknowledge that two people may have put out the same idea.
Yeah.
I like whoever did it first 9 times out of 10, or whoever brought it to my attention first. And so, like, sometimes I may hear an argument, I'm like, I fucking heard that argument before for an opinion, but then I hear that same opinion argued a different way, a way I've never heard before, and I'm like, oh, shit. Even if I don't agree with it, I'm like, dang.
That's a good argument.
Yeah.
But, so with an infinite number of people, there are an infinite number of possibilities that somebody else has come up with what you thought of already.
Yeah, we're not at infinity, but like 7 billion, that's still a lot.
Still a lot of people. I think there's a problem, too. I think there's only a certain number of faces that are available in nature.
On WWE, the game.
No, like, I think that's why there's doppelgangers. I think nature, where there's 7 billion people, I think nature ran out of faces to give everyone.
Why does mine have to be Wilmer Valderrama?
Yours is Wilmer Valderrama
and Ray Romano.
Had a baby with Ray Romano.
I knew you were going to fucking say it. Yours is John Goodman, and that's it. Just kidding. Okay, John Goodman and Chris Pratt and Seth Rogen, they all ran into each other really fast. And there's an original law of physics where if that much matter all collides, it fuses.
Like the movie Stuck on You, that's 2 episodes in a row I've talked about that movie.
Hold on. Okay, so I listened. What was our last episode called? Mussy? No. Little Golden John Goodman.
Golden John Goodman.
I was listening to it in the car the other day, and I meant to ask you, who was in Stuck on You?
I don't fucking know.
I feel like one is Matt Damon, and that hurts my heart.
Yeah, I think one of them was Matt Damon.
Someone told Matt Damon, who is brilliant in the movies he selects that he's going to play a role in. I say he selects him. No one picks Matt Damon. He picks the role.
Yeah, no one wants Matt Damon in their movie. He's just like, hey, can I be in this movie? I made Good Will Hunting.
I literally have a framed picture of Matt Damon at my work desk 4 inches in front of my anniversary picture with my wife. God. Which rests on a photo booth strip of me and my wife. Like, Matt Damon comes first. Okay, but anyways, Okay, so a side example, when Bill Murray picked the role to play in Garfield, at the time, I'm like, what the fuck? And now I get it, because he got mixed up between the Coen brothers and the Cohen brothers.
Yeah, it was Cohen.
Yeah, and so he thought it was the people that made Fargo made Garfield, which I would want to be in that too.
Yeah.
I'd be Otis, or Odie.
Odie.
Yeah. Odie, yeah.
I'd be Normal.
What the fuck is normal?
Normal's the other cat.
I thought you were saying normal, not normal.
Nope. Normal is the cat that Garfield
If they made
hates.
a Garfield movie, for our listeners, no, I meant if they did a Garfield without Garfield movie, just John Arbuckle slowly going insane for 90 minutes. There's Garfield without Garfield comic strips on the internet, and they are brilliant.
If they ever did a Garfield without Garfield movie, it would have to be Jason Bateman as John Arbuckle.
Yeah. Who was John Arbuckle? Oh, Jesus, Bill Murray.
No,
I was like, was it Jason Lee? But that's Alvin and the Chipmunks.
No, Bill Murray did the voice for Garfield.
Oh, then who's John Arbuckle?
It was Breckin Meyer. Exactly.
Damn. Okay, so anyways.
Jennifer Love Hewitt was in the movie, though, the first one. That's
the only thing she's been in since then. No, but okay, so back to the Matt Damon thing. Like, when Bill Murray was in Garfield, I'm like, no matter what the movie is, I always wonder why the actor picked the role. Yeah. So with Bill Murray, I'm like, why Garfield? But
I understand the mix-up.
Yeah, and then like Denzel Washington, I'm like, okay, you're gonna be black and be angry, you gotta find Dakota Fanning, and he's like, all right, I'm in. But then with Matt Damon, if he really wasn't stuck on you, why? How did they pitch that?
Yeah.
Whoever pitched that to Matt Damon needs to recruit for like any college football team.
I imagine that it's one of those things where he had a deal with a movie studio for a certain number of films, and that was, he wanted to get out of his deal, so he did that movie to get out of his deal.
Yeah, he's probably like, if you want me to do that last movie that I owe you, you're going to have another guy carry me through it. And I'm like, all right.
We got you. We got the perfect movie.
We actually already have that script.
It's called Good Will Hunting.
I was say the pages are all glued together, though.
With semen. You brought up Denzel Washington, though. He could say, all right, you're going to be black, you're going to be angry. Like, that's the first 2 parts to every Denzel Washington movie. Like, remember
except for Book of Eli. They're like, okay, you're blind, black, and angry.
And you're going to be carrying around a book. Remember the Titans. You're going to be black. You're going to be angry. And you're going to try to fight racism on your football team.
Hey, wait. For the last 20 minutes of this podcast, can we just recap every Denzel Washington movie as you're black, you're angry, and blank? You're black and angry, and you're in a hole, the hurricane. You're black and angry, and your kid's Ray Allen. You're black... You're black and angry and can fly upside down.
You're black, you're angry, and then there's a guy trying to rob a bank.
From the inside. Oh my God. Can we just name this episode You're Black and Angry and Blank?
I'm okay with that. You're black, you're angry, and you're high flying a plane.
You're black and angry and there's snakes on your plane.
Wait, that's Samuel L. Jackson.
Fuck.
You're black, you're angry, and you can travel through time.
The Time Traveler's Wife?
Deja vu.
Oh, God. But only 7 minutes backwards. You're black and angry, and your kid's heart broke.
And you're going to rob a hospital for a heart.
You're black and angry, and you got to teach these kids how to argue. The great debaters.
You're black, you're angry, and you're my nigga.
You're black and angry, and you're a wolf.
Okay. I fucking snorted.
Oh my God.
What else could that apply to? Wait, wasn't he in a movie with where he's trying to help solve a mystery, and he's bedridden?
You're black and angry, and Angelina Jolie needs bones.
Yeah. The bone collector.
Fucking love that movie.
I knew there was another one in there.
Which is almost the complete opposite of, like, I don't know, Reese Witherspoon. You're white, you're skinny, you're in Alabama. You're white, you're skinny, you're a cheerleader.
You're black, you're angry, and Tom Hanks has AIDS.
Oh, that's the best one. You're black and angry, and you need to get Andy Dufresne out of Shawshank.
Morgan Freeman. You're black, you're angry, and Neo needs to save the Matrix.
You're black and angry, and you're God. Okay, that's Morgan Freeman again.
You're black, you're angry, and you need to assemble the Avengers.
You're black, you're angry, and you're the clumps.
All of them.
I mean, he was.
You're black, you're angry, and your wife is huge. Norbit.
Oh, I've never seen Norbit.
You haven't seen Norbit?
I lost my Eddie Murphy interest after Pluto Nash.
So did 99% of America. You're black, you're angry, and you're dressed up like a fat black woman. That could be Big Mama's House or Tyler Perry movies.
And just like every other Tyler Perry movie, he ripped it off of someone else. Oh my God, he might as well do Medea Scared Stupid. Medea Goes to Jail.
They did do Medea Goes to Jail.
Bullshit.
It is a movie.
If that's not the most blatant white people did it first.
Instead of Simpsons did it, it's Crackers did it.
Crackers did it.
Medea Goes to Jail is a real movie, though.
Oh my God.
It's a real thing.
See, okay, that's a perfect demonstration of I thought I had organic original content. And someone already fucking did it.
Tyler Perry did it.
One time I thought, oh man, this is way off topic, but one time I was like, man, why don't they just make like bright colored t-shirts with like a gray stripe? I'm gonna have to do this backwards because I don't understand where I am on the camera. Okay, but like make a gray stripe there. So it looks like you're wearing your seatbelt when you're in your fucking car.
They do make that.
They do!
I know.
But I came up with this idea in like 2010, and I think I first saw it in 2012, and they were being sold like crazy in China. I actually saw a news story about how popular these shirts were. I was like, God damn it.
If only I knew how to make t-shirts.
Actually, I would imagine that's a really tough thing to screen print on a shirt from one shoulder down to like the other side of your abdomen.
I don't think you understand how easy screen printing is.
Man, they can do the whole shirt?
Dude, you can screen print by like getting a vinyl iron thing. Like it's an iron-on transfer. Like you stick it on the shirt and then iron it on there and it's there.
Interesting.
Like, you can print them out with your printer.
Wow. I can't wait. 3D printers have been a thing for like, I feel like almost a decade.
Yeah, but they've really came into prominence like the last 5 years, I would say.
They're in Providence?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. But I want one. Even though I know
Yeah.
I will never understand how to use the program to make the model of the thing I want printed.
I would just download models that everybody else has already made and just print that shit out.
Yeah, there literally just be mods on the internet that you could download.
Somebody configured a, because it's all 3D printing really is an extruder, which is different from a toaster strudel.
An extrudel.
An extruder.
An egg strudel.
Oh.
Okay.
They
Maybe
make those
someone
already.
already. Yeah.
Yeah. It has scrambled eggs, bacon, and cheese in it.
Wait, what was the title of this episode? You're black, you're angry, and blank. Okay.
You're black, you're angry, and you're blank. But some guy made one out of concrete, like that extrudes concrete, and pretty much 3D printed a playhouse castle for his daughter.
I'm sure there's more impressive feats. I think they built a house out of 3D printed material.
They did. Well, I mean, they 3D. What I was saying though, he made it with concrete. Like he 3D printed concrete.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Like
I had to think about it in my brain.
Which
Just
is
the application of
that's
it,
the
isn't that-
definition of thinking.
If he would have 3D printed a skate park, that's cool. But maybe you're limited in resource and what you.
If
can
he
actually-
made a 3D printer that uses concrete, he probably is not lacking in resources.
If I ever get a 3D printer, I'm gonna do the same thing I would do with a genie, and I'm just gonna 3D print another 3D printer.
Wish for
Infinite
another
wishes.
genie.
Yeah.
What do you wish for? Another genie. All right. What are your second two wishes?
Another genie.
But then you just spend all your wishes wishing for more genies, and then you're out of wishes.
No, my third wish would be an infinite recurrence of the granting of my first two wishes. That's tough. You want to talk about something else random?
Sure.
We have about 15 minutes. This might be 14 minutes worth of material, so find filler where you can. And you're back from that commercial that didn't happen. Or did it?
Or did it?
Actually, we're kind of forcing people. If you want to know if that was a commercial, you're going to have to tune in to undiscoveredrockradio.com.
Yeah. Kind of like The Walking Dead forced 18 million people into stopping watching The Walking Dead.
Oh, my God. I could talk about this for 20 fucking minutes.
It's okay. Talk about what you're going to talk about.
Nope. You already got me.
Wait, I haven't watched, aside from the first two episodes, I haven't watched any of The Walking Dead this
me
season.
neither. But I know exactly how the season, is it mid-season or real
It's a mid-season finale.
Mid-season finale. I know what happened. All I can say is I bitched
They
about
killed
this.
Spencer because it happened exactly the same way it does in the comic books, and I know how it happened in the comic books.
Yep. They're graphic novels. But I know I complained about this on a previous episode. It kills me how The Walking Dead does nothing to keep the viewer hooked throughout the season anymore. They keep you hooked at the end of the season until the beginning of the next season.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like maybe that's their way of, as a television program, to counteract like the Netflix thing of binge watching.
Well, it's kind of, this season right now it's probably been more detrimental that they did that because viewership has been down for their show this season.
Good. I hope it's plummeting. They're gonna have to do the Game of Thrones thing and kill Rick or kill Daryl or have Negan become your new protagonist or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like that's the thing that Game of Thrones I think has done well, and it's based it's still very much based in the source material, but the source material kind of bucked that trend where you don't know if the people that you're following are gonna die or not. By the end of the first book, I was like, "What the fuck? They just killed the main character."
Yeah.
And there's 5 other books. The Walking Dead needs to deviate more from the comics and start killing off people.
Yeah, I think, okay, and it's kind of the reason why movies pretty much cap out at 2 or 2.5 hours. I mean, rarely do movies go beyond that. It's because a human can only really be interested so much in one static storyline.
Yeah.
And I know a few things may happen, but my point is, if a show is 10 episodes and each episode's an hour, that's 10 hours.
Yeah.
That's 4 movies. No one watched 4 movies in a row of the same characters doing the same thing in the same place with the same stuff.
They
and
do it all
conflict.
the time with the Star Wars movies.
I don't watch Star Wars.
You don't.
I know. And it baffles me. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, as I understand, Rogue One is same universe.
It's a prequel to the original movies that were a sequel to the prequels that came out after the original trilogy came out, but unrelated to any of the other movies.
Got it. So it's set before, like Return of the Jedi and all those.
Yes, it's set before.
But it's also a different storyline.
No, it's the same. Like, it's following, like, so it's set in between essentially Anakin becoming Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, like, becoming a man.
Is the movie supposed to be focused on...
It's essentially focused on the rebels obtaining the plans for the Death Star, which is like...
Okay, yeah, then I'll never watch Rogue One. I can't be interested for that long, and I don't think anyone can. Part of the reason I think Star Wars is kind of having a resurgence, and they've done it twice, which a lot of things do it...
It's because of member berries.
Kinda. Which actually, you're wearing a very member berry-esque shirt right now.
Yeah, I membered.
Member. But, like, there's the nostalgic aspect of Star Wars. So everyone watched it when they were, like, young, and then they got a little bit older, and then that's when they brought so first it was episodes 4, 5, and 6, then it was 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, they were retroactively named 4, 5, and 6, though.
Got it. Okay. So everyone watched 4, 5, and 6, then you wait, like, 15, 20 years, and then you release 1, 2, and 3, and essentially... They waited like 10 more years, and now they're releasing.
But the problem that they're
-3, -2, and -1.
The problem with the prequels 1, 2, and 3 was that they were very negatively received.
Mm-hmm.
Like people, like they still broke box office numbers, but
because of nostalgia.
Yeah, people wanted to go see it because oh god, new Star Wars movie, I have to go see that. But they weren't as good. But the newer movie, excuse me, the one that came out last year, it was really good. But plot-wise, it was pretty much just a retread of the first Star Wars movie that came out. But what they did well was they reestablished the original, the original canon, like the timeline of events that happened. And they were able to introduce new characters and introduce, the conflict in, the new conflict now in these sequels. And they had the old characters, so you got that nostalgia, but they also they killed Han Solo. And
spoiler alert.
Yeah. And Luke Skywalker wasn't in the movie till the very end. So the old characters weren't dominating the story. It was focused on these new characters. So you get that nostalgia, but you also get, that the new characters, the new feel that brings everybody back in.
I don't know. Are you gonna go watch Rogue One?
Probably. I went and saw The Force Awakens. I think the
longest series I've ever been able to get into movie-wise has been The Matrix.
Okay.
And I think that's only because you have movie 1 where Neo's figuring out he's the one.
He's Jesus.
Yeah, he's still mostly in the Matrix. And then movie 2, he's mostly in the real world and kind of figuring out the balance. And then movie 3, they're introducing characters like the Merovingian, the Architect.
That was in the second movie, was when they introduced the Merovingian.
Oh, you're right. Right before the highway scene.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, it was new, it flowed, and then at the end, it all reset.
Yeah.
And so they basically, and if they ever bring back another Matrix, I'm disowning the entire series.
My only beef with the Matrix series is that we didn't get to see Neo finish learning what he was capable of. By the end of the first movie, he just
flew out of the phone booth.
He had just figured out that he was the one, and that he could dive into people and explode them from the inside.
Yeah.
But at the end, by the time the end credits roll around, in that it seemed like 2 minutes passed from when he explodes Agent Smith to then he's answering that phone, and then flying off. I'm like, what the fuck happened in between there?
Yeah.
Now he looks cool as fuck.
Get you hyped for the second movie.
Yeah.
And then the second movie, his fucking karate skills. I think
he learned more kung fu.
Yeah, he did more loading of programs into his brain.
I hope we get to the point where I can learn shit like that.
I think the closest we'll have to settle on is just YouTube.
I mean, it's come pretty close.
I don't know how to tie a tie, but I figured it out in 4 minutes of YouTube.
I don't know how to speak German, but I do have Duolingo.
I don't know how to speak German, but I sure enjoy shit porn. That was weird.
I mean, I don't really get into that. I think it's weird. Not to be judgmental, but it's weird.
The Germans are just weird.
I am super judgmental though.
Of Germans?
Just people in general. I don't know. How do you think of yourself as judgmental?
Of course.
Okay, then at least I'm not alone in this. But I let very small things affect my opinion of people, and not to the point where I like hate a person, but I hate them. But it'll be people I have had no previous interaction with, and they'll say or do something or be in the process of doing something like, oh, I have no interest in like
watching Rogue One.
No, so I was going into Target, and there was a girl who I assumed worked there because she was just standing out front talking to somebody else that worked there.
Wearing red.
She wasn't wearing. She had a jacket on, but they were out. She was using she was smoking a cigarette out in front of the store. But she had I don't know. She was cute, but she had very weirdly colored hair. She had like the Skrillex haircut.
Yeah.
And like a lip piercing, and I'm like, at first I'm like, oh, she kind of looks interesting. But she had a Rick and Morty backpack with her, and I'm like, oh, I was like, I bet she's cool. I like Rick and Morty. And not that I had any intention in going up and talking to her, but just like in my head, I was like, oh, she likes Rick and Morty. I bet she's cool. But as I walked past her, she was talking about how much she loves Green Day, and I'm like, I have no interest in associating with you as a person. Yeah,
it's weird when you get like a stimulus that would cause a negative judgment and then one that causes a positive.
Yeah.
Man.
It just, but
for me, the negative typically rings louder than the positive.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like,
but it's not like oh, I hate her now because she likes Green Day. It's just like, no, like I just have no interest in, knowing her as a person because she likes Green Day. She makes bad choices.
Yeah. My only reflection to my own judgmental behavior is that I don't share my judgments a lot, especially in the workplace. But I still feel like people sense that they're being judged somehow. And I think it's because I let people talk and then I don't respond.
Silently judging.
Seriously. And like people will be like, I'll be like, hey, how was your weekend? And they'll say something, like they'll give me an elaborate response.
I smoked some crack.
And they'll give me an elaborate response, and then they'll be like, how was your weekend? I'm like, cool.
It was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't smoke any crack.
And then I think they think that I was off put by their answer, but I'm like, no, I just
don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care to hear more about your story.
We're just in a setting where I can't say stop like halfway through.
Stop talking.
Hit the buzzer.
If you had one of those like at work, just hit it for everybody to stop talking.
One of my favorite comedians of all time, Tony Woods. Do you remember him?
Hey man, it's Tony Woods, man.
Yeah, that's him. He doesn't even tell jokes. He's a funny guy.
He just talks like this, man, the whole time he's talking the story. He tells stories like this, man, when the whole time he's up on stage, he just keeps talking like this, and then he breaks the laugh.
You're black, you're angry, and you have run-on sentences. Okay.
That was the summation of Tony Woods.
But he says something to the effect of he hates when he'll say something just casual to be polite, like, hey, how you doing? And then somebody will be like, well, my back. And he's like, whoa. Like, I didn't want an answer.
Hey, man, I didn't ask you how you was doing. I just said, how you doing?
That is the Tony Woods I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
All right, Jacob.
One of these days, I want to do a cartoon and just do the voices for the cartoon.
We could do kind of like the Rick and Morty when they did the court sketch thing.
Yeah, but neither one of us know how to animate.
No, it wouldn't even be animating. You just basically draw still frames, have them play for like 15 seconds, and then go to the next picture. We just have to draw things that look like the thing on the previous slide, and that would be tough.
Well, first we would have to draw.
I can draw okay.
I can not draw. Okay.
We'll do it one day.
One of these days. We said we were going to get video one day, and now we got video. So
watch, we hit stop on this, we go to play it back, and
I would fucking die if that happened again.
Seriously, I'll quit the podcast. 30 episodes and done.
That would be completely disheartening. So
We'll
let's
be on an ESPN 30 for 30.
the Jake and Josh podcast. What happened?
What if I told you this was dumb as shit? That's just how I picture it. Narrated by Spike Lee, of course. No, Spike Jones. I prefer him.
Narrated by Tony Woods.
Hey, man, I can't do it.
It's Tony Woods, and it's the Jake and Josh podcast. What happened to those dudes, man? That was so funny for like a year, man, and then they just fell off. They just stopped putting on no episodes.
Oh my god, I kind of want to like tweet Tony Woods and be like, you just gotta listen to the last 5 minutes of this. We found your verbal doppelganger.
Your verbal ganger.
Your verbal doppelganger.
Your verbal Doppler radar.
That's another stroke. Of genius. I knew it. God, if we wouldn't have had that Denzel fucking bit in the middle of this, this episode would be called Stroke ... of Genius.
Yeah. I think we'll have to flip a coin for those to see which title we name this.
Maybe. But yeah, that's all I got. We're right in an hour. Please check us out at www.jakeandjoshpodcast.com. Rate and review us on iTunes, Jake and Josh Podcast.
.com.
/iTunes. That's not a real web address.
Don't go there.
That 404 will not be found.
Yeah. On our website, you can find all of our various links for social media.
Even iTunes? I've never actually looked.
I don't know if you can
just if you have an iPhone, an iPad, an iPod, what else? An iPatch,
an Apple Watch.
Please open your podcast app, even if you aren't listening to this.
Just subscribe to us so our episodes will auto download.
Yep. Because coming in 2017, we hope to get sponsors.
Yo.
Also, if you have any like-minded friends that find funny stuff funny and lame stuff funny, because we have both.
We have the best of both worlds and the worst of both worlds. We're like a tale of two cities.
We're like Two Boys Meet World.
A tale of two boys. That's Brokeback Mountain, sorry.
We should reenact a Brokeback Mountain scene. But not that scene, just like a different one.
Not the I can't quit you scene.
Wait, is that literally what he says?
Yeah, he like Jake Gyllenhaal.
You watched that scene?
I've seen the scene before.
Ugh.
I never actually sat down and watched the whole movie. I've heard it's a good movie.
Do you ever watch Gay Porn with Your Family? You're like, no, it's Seen It, Brokeback Mountain. Okay. That's so stupid.
A whole game.
And follow us on Twitter at Jake Josh Podcast.
Which you can also do from the website.
Yes.
If you're not into, typing. Also, Instagram.
And actually just make your homepage on your web browser, jakeandjoshpodcast.com.
Yeah, that would be huge. Because then you could
It would be huge.
And then you could just open up your browser and go straight to the newest episode.
My Donald Trump impression sounded 10% like Donald Trump and like 90% like that drunk guy from Hot Fuzz.
It'll be huge.
It'll be huge.
Let me tell you something. We have the best website. It'll be your best homepage. Everyone knows it. You know it. We all know it. It'll be the best
Jake,
website.
stop. Your hands are too big. All right. But for real, thanks for listening. We will see you in a week. And that's all I got.
No, you'll see us in a week. We won't see you.
Well, I look through the camera at them.
Oh, yeah. When you watch us, the camera opens up on your side.
Yep. We are the NSA. But yeah, that's all I got. Goodbye.
Love you.